And here we are. We are on Jefferson, right in front of Manny's. Manny's, the Chicago institution. I'm here with co-owner Dan Raskin. And as we're recording this, I'm looking at the notes that I typed up on my Samsung Galaxy S8 phone, which runs on the Boost Mobile network. Boost Mobile, a proud sponsor of Carne. BoostMobile.com. My entire family is on Boost Mobile. All of our phones we got from Boost Mobile. It is the cheapest game in town. The service is exceptional. The data speeds lightning fast. Boost Mobile.
It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
Okay, so Dan, we're here in front of your joint. Now, there's so much history here, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, I'll tell you my history with Manny's, and I'm sure you hear these stories all the time, but I remember as a kid, growing up in Skokie, my grandparents lived in Lincolnwood, and we would make regular, at least once a month, trips down here. My grandfather got his suits and blazers from a place called Benjamin's around the corner.
Yep.
And it would be like, and he always was buying new suits and blazers, so we'd always come down, he'd get them tailored, and it'd be a 1-2 stop. We do the Benjamin's trip, and then we would do the Manny's trip, where we would just load up on Reubens and potato pancakes. And I mean, ever since then, I mean, it was really cool. Maybe 10 years ago, I took my kids, who were much younger, obviously 10 years younger, took them to the Ringling Brothers Circus at the United Center. I thought, this is it. I get to take them to Manny's for the first time. And it was so cool because this is what I grew up doing as a kid, and I got to kind of pass it on to a new generation in my family, and they talk about Manny's and want to go to Manny's all the time. I'm sure you hear that kind of stuff all the time.
That's exactly why I wanted to be in the business. I mean, I literally growing up, talking to the customers, hearing the stories, I literally continuing on the tradition is exactly why I loved the restaurant, and I wanted to keep doing it. It was like in my day, it's so busy and trying to organize my employees, get enough food, but literally the best part is talking to the employees and hearing these kinds of stories.
Well, we did a quick Facebook Live tour of the restaurant. One of the guys working behind the counter has worked here for 35 years.
Yep. I mean, we've been fortunate enough to keep these people for a long time. They're family to us. It's not just employees to us.
I bet he's got some stories.
He does. I mean, I think that was one of the best things about coming into work, is that I had these people who were working here for so long, and they've adapted a lot of things that I've wanted to do, but they've also were able to teach me 20 years before I was here, like how they were doing things, and they literally remember customers that have been coming in since they started working.
Sure.
Here. So it's pretty cool.
Let's talk a little bit about the history. Manny's has been here since 1942.
Right. I'm fourth generation. We've been in business since 1942. Jack and Charlie Raskin actually started the restaurant, and then they moved around a bit. We were on the far north side of the city, then the west side of the city for a few years, and then we really settled down in this neighborhood in the late 40s. And we've been in this location since 1965, but we've really grown a lot. We're literally one 1,500 square foot store, and now we've taken over 6 of them.
This area has transformed over the past decade or so. Back when Manny's opened in mid-60s, I'm guessing the area was a little more...
It was very different. I mean, it was always known as a rough neighborhood. There was literally at nighttime, that was not the place to really hang out. There was a lot of family-owned businesses in the area, and also a lot of family-owned businesses on the west and south side that were basically like food deserts. So we were the furthest thing south and west from the city, so we get a lot of people who were driving in that would stop in for breakfast and lunch, and then they'd go home on their way home.
Why do you think Manny's has endured as long as it has?
I would definitely say the family, like my dad and my grandfather, that they really thought it was important to be here all the time, and we're not absentee owners. A lot of restaurants open up and they just hire some management, and they don't show their face. But it's in our family, it's important that someone is always here, and it really makes sure that the customer gets the best experience, our employees have the best experience, and that's definitely our formula to success, and really not changing any of the quality of anything. When food costs go up, instead of going for something smaller or less money, we just keep selling the best quality that we can get.
And the food here is so good. It's ridiculous. I've always wondered, or I always thought about this, Chicago, for as big as its Jewish population is, just as big as the population is, I've always been surprised there haven't been more prominent Jewish delis. I mean, we've seen some come up. Is it because Manny's has scared them all away?
I hope not. I mean, I think the more delis, the better for everybody. I mean, for us, for everyone. I think it's the formula of the rent, the staff, the food cost is extremely high in the deli business. You're giving very large meat portions, and you can only charge so much. So if I charge $13 for a sandwich and a steakhouse charges $40 for a steak, the costs are almost the same between the steak and our sandwich, and they're making $30 on me. So it's tough to do.
Interesting perspective. Now, before we started recording, you said you have a philosophy about agreeing to interviews.
So about in the mid '80s, when my dad was really taking, my grandfather had just passed away. My dad was really taking over the reins. He was approached by a woman that he had never heard of named Oprah Winfrey, and she wanted him to come on a show and do something on family businesses. And he was really busy. He didn't really want to take the time out of his day to go do something, and he, for some reason, turned her down. And a few years later, he was so busy in his daily routine, like he still didn't realize who she was. And then literally maybe like 2 or 3 years later, he realized who she was because he didn't even know. And he said after that, he's never turning anything down. And when I came to work, he told me the story, and he said, "I hope you never turn anything down either." So I try to do every press opportunity, any opportunity to share our story with anyone, big or small.
I love that. I think that's a great philosophy. Now, given that this is the family business, this long-running family business, did you even have a choice?
I did. I'm one of 4 siblings, and all of us had the opportunity to come here. I knew from about the time I was in high school that this is for sure what I wanted to do, and my dad said, "You have to go to college, and then you can come work for me." So I went to college.
I love that he said that.
Yeah, he thought it was really important that if the restaurant wasn't here, but also the experiences from college would hopefully help the business grow, which I definitely think it has. But I went to college, and I graduated. I remember going to a graduation party the next day, and then showed up to work the next day, and been here since.
I want to bust open the food in a second, but what's the hardest part of day-to-day operations here?
I think it's managing your time between running the business, my family, and like just being a regular person. Like you work literally 24 hours, 7 days a week, and you still need to have a life. So it's difficult to do.
Finding that balance, and you're open 7 days a week.
Right.
And,
it's a struggle. I mean, especially in the last year, we opened on Sundays. We were never open on Sundays, and my parents were like, "Hey, you understand that this is going to take away the only day off that you can enjoy." And my feeling was that we just needed to be more accessible to our customer, and our customers really wanted to come on a Sunday, and I knew that if I wanted the longevity of the restaurant to stay around, we need more people saying, "Hey, I came here with my family. I can remember my dad and my grandfather taking me," and this was the best way to do it, was to be more accessible to people, with the neighborhood changing and the city changing, that the weekends, the city's busier than ever, and 15 years ago, the city was deserted on the weekends.
Yeah.
So we've had to change around the changing of the city.
Makes sense. All right, so let's start eating.
All right.
The thing I think that I'm amazed with is the fact that you got yourself a sandwich. You're here all day, every day, and you are ready to plow through one of your sandwiches. I mean, do you ever take a break on pastrami or corned beef? Or
who wants a break from that?
Okay, fair enough. So one of the things I mentioned in our Facebook live stream, the thing about ordering a sandwich at Manny's, you watch the guys behind the counter prepare the sandwich. They put the meat on the bread, and then they just keep putting meat on the bread. Like, it doesn't stop. It is this relentless onslaught of beef. And I'm not complaining. I'm saying this is a wonderful thing. But seriously, Dan, this is the heaviest to-go container I've ever carried.
That's what people want. They want a big quality sandwich, so we give it to them.
mission accomplished. And the potato pancakes, the latkes, are so good. And we have. Did we get sour cream and applesauce?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. We were saying earlier, it's hard to commit to one of the two. Tradition dictates you're an applesauce person or a sour cream person with the potato pancakes. I go half and half.
That's the way to do it. You get the best of everything.
Oh my gosh, here we go. And are there some in there for you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so tell me, I guess, first about your pastrami. Because you got the combo there.
Right. So I'm a big pastrami fan, but it's pretty fatty, so I need to mellow it out a little bit with the corned beef.
And oh my gosh, it looks so good. The fat on the pastrami behind the line. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Look at that.
So you can't go wrong with the combo on rye.
You really... The smell, I mean, this is it. This is an aphrodisiac. The way... It's like those old cartoons, you remember, where you'd see like the scent fingers come down the hall and they'd hook someone by the nose and drag them back down the hall. That's what I'm getting right now, are the scent fingers wafting up from these carry-out containers. All right, I'm going to start with the potato pancake.
I'm just digging right into the meat.
There's no way to finish this sandwich in one sitting, right?
Yeah, you can.
You got to commit. You got to go all in.
You just have to make sure you have nothing to do after.
Yeah, exactly. You can use a cup holder. Not that soda hasn't been spilled on my floor before. So much political history in and out of these doors through the years. Politicos going for lunch. Aldermen chatting over a corned beef. The most high profile people have been actual, real live, no kidding presidents.
Yep, we've been fortunate enough to have President Clinton and President Obama as customers.
Like Obama came here right after his rally, after he won in 08.
So when he went to Grant Park for his rally, the next day he just stayed in the Federal Building all day planning. And the next day we were the first planned press conference out in public. So we literally had like 75 people from the World Press Corps here.
Oh my God.
And he came through 8. And I remember they were so worried about the auto shutdown with the auto industry and the bailout. So that was like what everybody was asking him, what were they going to do with the bailout? What are you going to do with the bailout? But he was like super nice, like took pictures with everybody, got us food. It was just a great experience.
So how does that work with a president? Like, how much heads up do you get that, hey, President Obama is going to be coming by?
So usually the less we find out as close to the time as possible because they have to do less work. So they're like with him and Clinton, both of them, we found out within a few minutes of them actually coming. So
that makes sense.
It was much easier for us that we didn't have to have the Secret Service screening everything. When George Bush was president, he was actually scheduled to come in, and we had the Secret Service in the restaurant for 2 days checking everything. And then he ended up getting sick and didn't come in. But since it was a planned thing, everybody was here for like 2 days before. They were checking through all the employees and everything.
Oh, man.
So, and then they didn't even come. So it was actually a relief that we didn't know that they were coming this time because it was just like they just showed up.
So Obama came after he won, but he also came here before, like when he
Right.
was a state senator.
He was like a state senator coming in. He literally would come here. A lot of politicians come here for meetings because it's a meeting point throughout the whole city. So whether you're on the north side, the west side, or the south side, it's very convenient to meet, and the food's great. Obviously.
It's right off the expressway.
Yeah, it's right after the expressway. We have plenty of parking, and it's just like a melting pot. It's not like you're going to a fancy steakhouse. So you can sit here for a while. We don't give you a hard time, but it's just become a hangout for everybody.
Have you ever had some of our evil governors, our incarcerated governors?
We've had everybody. we like everybody visiting. Whether we don't know if they're good or bad until later, but
Whatever the end of their story might
yeah,
be.
usually when they're eating here, they're not causing problems. So it's just a matter if they're getting the food or not. But we've had all the governors, everybody in.
What was Clinton like?
He was very nice. I at that time we still sold cigars, and I knew he was a big cigar fan. So he actually came in, went through the line, got his food, and he just literally said, he's like, hey, I just want to, after I eat, I'll come say hi to everybody. He went like table to table, greeted every single customer. He went up to the front, bought about a dozen cigars, and then took off.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it was awesome.
What about like entertainers, celebrities, Hollywood types?
We've had a bunch of actors, like a lot of the actors from Chicago come in. Some of the famous comedians we've had, Jerry Seinfeld, we've had Steve Harvey.
Well, that episode of Comedians in Cars is such a trip.
Right.
And on the Comedians in Cars series, they don't talk about where they're going. You just kind of see the placement of the sign and where they are. And as Harvey and Seinfeld are talking, there's the Manny sign right in the middle of them in the back, which I thought was about the most kick-ass product placement imaginable.
We got lucky on that one. I guess not lucky. They want it. They had called us and like 2 days before and said, "Hey, we want to film this," and we're good with it.
And were they cool?
Yeah, I mean, we had a good time. Steve Harvey was definitely one of the most generous customers we've ever had. A few blocks from us, there's a homeless mission, and he was aware that it was there. And when he left, he sent over a few $100s worth of food over there. So
that's pretty cool.
Super nice.
Did we talk about like the spices in the pastrami?
So pastrami, a lot of people want to know what the difference between corned beef and pastrami is. And both of them start out the same type of meat. They're both brined meat. The only difference is that the pastrami has a pepper on the outside of the outside of the meat. But you can basically pastrami or corn any type of beef. Our corned beef is made of brisket, and then our pastrami that we use for the hot sandwiches is all navel pastrami, which is like the belly of the cow.
I just started in on my Reuben. This is why I keep coming back. I mean, yes, it's the history, it's the life experience, it's those family memories, but oh my God, this corned beef is so good. I think the Reuben is the perfect sandwich.
I mean, the grilled outside, the melted cheese, the crunch of the sauerkraut.
And the Thousand Island.
The Thousand Island is key. I mean, I eat the sandwiches with Thousand Island no matter what sandwich it is usually here.
Yeah, this is a wonderful.
Yeah, we make that in house.
The Thousand Island.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So, how much prep goes into each day? Because you have so much stuff behind the counter, from the hot items and the beef and everything.
Our chef actually gets in around midnight.
Okay, see, that's kind of what I expected, but it sounds nuts.
They literally start cooking at midnight, and they're constantly cooking throughout the day. But a lot of the meats are like 4 or 5 hour cook times. So and the volume is big, so you literally have to start cooking at midnight to get the stuff done for lunchtime. And we actually put all our lunch food out at 9:30, and we literally start getting customers in for lunch at 9:30.
Oh, I believe that. Let's talk about the expansion. When did that start? Or when
it actually started 12 years ago when I first started coming to work full time, but it took me about 9 years to convince my dad to finally do it. And literally, I kept like bringing different contractors, and finally we found the right person that we wanted to do the work with. And about 3 years ago we started, and it took us about a year to finish everything. But we basically opened up the dining room, brightened it up, and it's same look and feel, but it was just a lot cleaner looking.
Yeah, I mean, the cafeteria line is such a distinct thing. You couldn't blow that up.
Right.
But now you have that separate area, the actual deli, and we looked at what you have in there. You've got the various smoked fish.
Yeah, we do a lot of like fish and bagels and meats by the pound. Obviously, on the weekends, it's busier in that section, but we do all our catering out of there. So we do a lot of deli trays and dairy trays and basically literally trays for every occasion. So we're doing a lot of office stuff during the week and keeping us busy.
So I asked you what the hardest part of day-to-day is. What's the best part?
The best part is sitting and talking to customers, I would say. I mean,
when I walked in, you were sitting at a table. Did you know them, or did you just...
They're just regular customers that come in, and you get to catch up with them, see how their week's going. Sometimes they haven't been in for a while, but it's just like to be able to catch up to people and know how they're doing, and hearing the stories. Oh, I was here with my grandfather. Or like my kids were with me the last time, and hearing about their families is just like literally the best part of my day.
And Manny's is part of that whole like care package delivery thing, right? For people out of state.
So we work with Lou Malnati's Pizza, and they own a company that you can send a whole Manny's kit anywhere in the country.
Because I'm sure there are plenty of expats who can't come close to getting something like this where they move to.
Right. We also started selling a few years ago to Costco, and we're right now we're still only in the Midwest, but we're in a lot of the Costco's in the Midwest, and you can pick up a package of our corned beef, and it's the same product that we have here. The same.
I had no
quality,
idea.
same everything. So it's great. Like it's a pre-sliced cold deli meat in the meat section.
I had no idea. What happened at Midway?
Well, we were fortunate enough to have been in Midway for a while.
It's the only reason I flew out of Midway.
I hear that from a lot of people. Keep the hashtag going and say put Manny's back. But the city rebid the airport, and a different company. Our restaurant in the airport was run by another company that had a master bid, and they had a lot of the restaurants like the Harry Carey, Tuscany's, Miller Pub. So a lot of the family-owned Chicago restaurants were run by this one group, and a different group that was not from Chicago came in and won the bid.
Got it. For people who want to come to Manny's, who maybe haven't been here for a while, the specific address on Jefferson is
1141 South Jefferson Street. We're at Roosevelt and Jefferson.
And Facebook's probably the best place to...
We do Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, at Manny's Deli.
And, of course, the website tells the complete story
Right.
and has pictures. And...
Manny'sDeli.com.
Awesome. I can't thank you enough for doing this. I mean, truly, this place is part of my life. It's part of so many people's lives. It's just fun to talk about. I can't think of many restaurants in Chicago that I want to talk at length about. I mean, so thank you for doing this.
Well, thanks for having me on.